ever had one of those neighbors in which you wish that a car or something would just run them down the road one day? Today's video is going to be of a certain neighbor of mine that I hope I never had the misfortune to run into again. So if I hadn't mentioned it before in my past videos, I live in Singapore. Most of my country's citizens live in HDBs, essentially communal blocks of flats where apartments were linked together with a common corridor, unless they're wealthy enough to be able to afford private housing. When I first moved to my current apartment in my family, we had this neighbor that even our other neighbors found strange. They're a mother and daughter pair, with the mother being an elderly woman being in her late 60s at least, with the daughter being at least in her 40s. Neither of them so much as exchanged greetings or even a word with us or with our other neighbors in 7 years since I lived here. But I digress. So I was still in college at the time, and anytime that I wasn't in class attending lectures, I normally stayed home to catch up on some rest and sleep. So I had a front row seat to several of the antics of this particular neighbor of mine. The elderly woman, my neighbor, had this strange habit of washing the corridor between both our apartments like clockwork 3 times a day. It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't ultimately end up in having all that dirty water in front of our apartment. There was another time when I caught her putting God knows what in my mother's prize plants. My mother panicked when she heard that bit, and thankfully managed to save her plants. I later heard from my mother that it was some kind of plant poison. I mean, seriously? There was also one incident which is the last straw. I was still in college at the time, when this particular neighbor of mine was still living next door to me, and I happened to have the habit to use headphones in commuting to and fro from my college to home. However, I never turned the volume up much, so I'm definitely aware of my surroundings and could always hear it if someone is speaking to me. One fine day, I was making my way home as usual, and walking along the common corridor when I suddenly felt someone shoving me from behind. I almost fell face first into my other neighbor's potted cactus. And to clarify, this isn't one of the mini types that you can sometimes find on a colleague's work desk. This is one of the large ones that is almost as tall as myself. And who should be the one to shove me but my crazy next door neighbor? When I gave her the look, she only glared and said, "You're in my way." Excuse me. Needless to say that my mother was furious when I informed her about it, and she was all set to break down my neighbor's door, but I managed to stop her. Gee, this is one brave woman to infuriate any protective mother. Or should I say, this is one suicidal person to infuriate my mother. Back to the story, and as neither myself nor my mother wanted to blow things up lest we get accused of bullying an old woman, we decided to let this incident go as nothing really happened. I think we almost threw a party when said neighbor moved away about 3 years ago, right before COVID hit us. I sincerely wish that new neighbors good luck in dealing with them. If you like this video, do subscribe and follow me. And I'll appreciate it if you can visit my Buy Me a Coffee page to show your support. Link in the description below. See you in the next video.